And one more time, officially. Welcome all to our, it would be third working group Prow meeting. My name is Magda, and I will be, surprise, your moderator today. And Suleiman will be taking notes for me. Suleiman, are you sharing your screen?
I'm sharing now. Can you see it already?
Yep. Perfect. It's okay. Yeah, so let's go quickly through our agenda. Yeah, so as usual, we are going to review quickly action items, maybe not so quickly, review action items from the previous meetings. Another point we'll discuss, it will be improvements in Prow installation and configuration, and this point will be held by Adam. Migration of Kyma components to Prow, concerns and discussion by Michał. And the last one, backlog refinement by Adam. Okay, so let's go through our action items for the previous meeting. First one, meet with the security team about the threat modeling for Pro, and that was on Suleiman. Do you have any updates?
Yeah, we had the initial talk with the security team. They have a long list of things to check for the threat modeling, and for that we arranged a long meeting for the next Monday. Actually, this week they were pretty occupied. That's why we will have the meeting on Monday.
Okay, great to hear that. Yeah, so next. Okay. Next item is run Kyma integration tests on a VM started from a Pro job, and this one is also on you, Suleiman.
Yes, let me continue there. It's actually almost finished. I'm just going to create a PR quickly. Let me maybe quickly show you what I have done. Well, basically, I have two scripts. This one is the script that the Prow job will run, actually. What it's doing is first, it's authenticating to Google Cloud using a service account that I created before. And then on the fly, it's just creating a new instance with the size that we need for our integration tests. And later on, it's copying a script that I also wrote over to the newly created VM. And then it's running the script. This part is going to be run by the Prow job. And what this script does on the VM, let me show that to you as well. Well, first, it starts with installing the necessary toolings on the VM. These toolings include like Docker, kubectl, Helm, and Minikube. And then it starts a Minikube cluster with the option VM driver none. This way, we don't have to enable nested virtualization on the Google Cloud instance. And later on, it's cloning the Kyma repo, and it's checking out the PR that actually triggered the Prow job. And it's installing and testing Kyma using our installation and testing scripts. Let me show you the last one I ran, actually. It was this morning. And yeah, as you might see here, first is just creating an instance on the fly, then it's performing all this installation stuff up until Here it's builds the Kyma installer, then it's deploying all the Kyma components onto this Minikube cluster. Here you can see that Kyma is installed successfully, and then it starts running integration tests. It looks really promising. Only one test is failed, and I will take a look what was the root cause of this failure, but still it looks really promising. And then I'm just going to refine the scripts a little bit and open a pull request so that you can also take a look and review. Yeah, that was pretty much it.
Okay, so
I have a question. How much time it takes to provision such virtual machine?
Only around 10-15 seconds.
Wow.
Okay.
Okay, I have another question because in your script install SH, you were reusing some scripts from Kyma already.
Exactly.
Is it possible to reuse Minikube script?
It wasn't actually because Minikube needs to be run with sudo because of this VM driver none option. And for that script, I actually tried it first. Some of the things should be run as root, and whereas some others we shouldn't be using it. And I couldn't manage to successfully use it. That's why I copied over some of the parts from that script over to here. So for some I used sudo and for others I didn't. Of course, we can take a look and try to use it fully instead of doing this. I just couldn't succeed there.
I guess it would be very, very nice to reuse as much as we can from already existing scripts.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, that can be improved.
Yeah, using none option actually it's made things a bit complicated.
We are already using VM driver none in old Docker in Docker scenario, so it shouldn't be a problem from perspective of scripts.
No. Yeah, maybe we can take a look later on and try to improve it. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, but otherwise looks very promising. Did you try maybe to run bare Minikube or Minikube? On what version of Minikube we are already at the moment? Is it 28?
I think it was 28. Yeah, 28.2.
Did you try to run maybe Minikube in version 29?
No, I didn't try that. I didn't try that.
Okay, so I guess in 29 there's Bootstrapper we are using at the moment will vanish. So it would be nice to know if there will be no troubles in that approach in case we would bump version of Minikube.
Okay, I can also try that.
Okay.
But this is not related strictly with the migration to Pro, yeah? So
yeah, that's correct. That's correct.
Maybe someone else is working on that. Do you know?
No, not really, but that's a topic of Bootstrapper and bumping version of Minikube is coming back to us, so we can expect that sooner or later we'll need to bump that version.
All right, then I'm not adding kits here, or should I, as an action item?
To be honest,
it's out of scope.
Yeah.
Okay, then I will leave.
I think it's it might consume too much time to check that actually.
Mhm. Okay. Do you have any other questions?
No?
Okay, so next item on our list is about implementing and encrypting the secrets using KVM and storing them on GCS. And another one is implement reading the secrets. So two very close to each other issues with high priority, and they don't have any assignees at the moment. So I guess maybe we are looking for happy volunteers.
These are the action items that we decided after Michal presented the options from last meeting. Options
Yes.
for secret management.
Yes, and I guess that sooner or later it will block us with implementing pipelines, component pipelines, and integration pipelines.
So if anyone can volunteer for it, it would be great.
Okay, so maybe not to put pressure on attendees at the moment, we can move to last one from action items. And this one is about updating the issue 24, which, if I can remember correctly, was about development flow.
Okay,
And this
so
one,
sorry for interruption. So it is already done, and I will present it in my part. Can I start now?
okie dokie, yes.
So let me share my. But Suleiman, can you stop sharing because I'm not able?
Yep.
Okay. Can you see my screen? And IntelliJ? Okay, I see thumbs up. So during this week, my focus was on enabling other developers to start working on the Prow migration. First of all, we updated the README file on the testing repository about development process. So this is the output from our previous week. So here we can find information that you cannot test Pro locally. We should perform all tests on the cluster, on such kind of on-demand clusters. So we should create cluster, test our solution, and then kill that cluster to do not increase the amount of money we spend on that. And another point was that we should test Pro configuration about against our fork repository. And that information you can find on the test info README file. And in the Pro configuration directory, we add some scripts which allows you to easily set up the whole Pro. So at the beginning, we added a new script provision cluster, and it's a very simple script. But what is nice here, that you have already defined machine type and number of nodes, which are enough to run a currently setup of Pro. You can just use that script to provision new cluster and test your changes. And next, we made some changes in the install Pro script. So first of all, at the beginning, we create HMAC token, and now we store that token in the text file because that token can be required later. So previously it was just printed on the screen, and if we forget about that, it was just lost. And the second thing, that it's reading of token. Previously, when you provide that token, it was displayed on the console, and now we read it in the same way as the password are read. So we just hide the input you provided. So it's some small improvement in the terms of the security. Also, we updated this documentation about Pro installation. So, for example, here you have some section which describe how to check if Pro is correctly installed. So here you have 2 points how to do that. And also we add a new section about configuration, because after executing install Pro, we have just some pods defined in your cluster, but still you do not have nothing in your configuration. So no plugins defined, no jobs defined. And we also focus on providing the simple plugins YAML, which we can use at the beginning. So maybe I will reveal that currently we are using only 2 plugins. One is trigger to allow you to trigger jobs on, for example, creation of pull request. The second is about cat. So you can add some comment on your pull request, and the cat image will be displayed. What is the purpose of this plugin? To test if everything is correctly configured, so if your bot is able to comment your pull request. So this is the only purpose of this plugin. And as I said at the beginning, we decided to work to check our changes against our fork. So this plugins YAML will differ between users and between the final original installation. So we add some tools for generating these plugins YAML to replace all places where your user is placed. And for that, we add new directory development. And here we have script generate sh, which generates plugins YAML. After generating plugins YAML, you should execute check sh. This script just check if your plugins YAML and config YAML is correct. So it performs some static analysis. And if everything is fine, you should call update plugins script, which put content of your file to the config map, which later is read from by Pro components. And that's all. Currently, we are working on providing minimal configuration for config YAML. So my goal is to also provide some template which later will be replaced by your some parts will be replaced by your username. And here we are going to define only one job for UI API layer component, and later Michał Chudy will use that to continue his work. And let me check if I said everything. Yeah, probably. Yes. So in case of any questions, please ask us on our Slack channel, and probably we can help you. That's all. Thank you.
Thank you, Adam.
Any questions right now? Okay. If no, thank you.
So I guess we can continue with the next topic, which is migration of Kyma components. And Michał, are you there?
Yes, I'm there. So I will share.
Okie dokie, thank you.
Okay, this screen is. Okay, can you see my screen?
Yes.
Okay. So I investigated how Kubernetes is your Knative builder components, images, etc. And they don't use, wait, and they don't use Kaniko. Knative use only Canico for build functionality, but they don't build the Knative with Canico. All of them use Docker in Docker solution. So I think we should make the same. And also they prepared some images like Bootstrap image, which contains Docker, Git, curl, etc. So useful tools for all of the builds. And then this is the root images. And then they create some other images like, I don't know, gcloud, which use this Bootstrap image. So I think we should make the same. We should prepare the Bootstrap image, and then we should prepare the build pack, Golang, build pack, Node, etc. Unfortunately, we cannot reuse the Bootstrap image from Google for Kubernetes or Knative distro because they use Bazel for their builds, and we don't need that, I think. And that's the question, if you want to use the Docker in Docker, or you should investigate it more with Canic or something like that. That's the first question. What do you think, guys?
As far as I see, there is no any other option. I also made a similar investigation before, but none of the alternatives are good enough.
Okay, so the Docker in Docker is a good solution, and also with the Bootstrap image, we will contains our, let's say, Jenkins workspace, similar, just the Linux with Docker, Google Cloud Client, and Git, and then make build pack Golang, build pack Node, etc. Right? I think the size of these images is not the problem because the images will be cached in Kubernetes, not like in the Jenkins where always the build pack was downloaded. So it will be faster than previous. Okay. Another part is that they have prepared the scripts. For example, Knative have in test infra repository, they have common scripts for testing. They have a library with some useful functions. And then they have a pre-submit test SH, release SH, and probably they should also have post-submit SH. These scripts contains, let's say, framework for testing. And then in every repository, they have, wait a moment, a test folder, which use those scripts. Not here. I don't see it right now. Okay, but in every repository, they use that scripts for building that repositories. So the first question is, should we use Bash scripts or Go scripts? Because we are not specialists of Bash, but for Go language we use every day. So what do you think about Go scripts instead of Bash?
And what would you like to automate with those scripts?
Yeah, it is possible to use it. You just make a Go run, right, on it.
I think that makes sense to use Go. We can even use Go's concurrency to run, concurrent jobs for different components.
Yes, but the orchestrator of which components should be built will be made by config YAML, right, Adam?
Yes.
So we don't need
probably.
Yeah. So we not need that concurrency in the Go scripts, but let's say Go scripts is much easier to create than Bash scripts. I think you can use a normal function than return values by echo or something like that, for example. And also
but I have a question. What will be in this Go project? So it will be just executing, I don't know, kubectl or something like that? Or could you show us some example? Because currently it's difficult to say what will be better if we do not know what will be the content.
Yeah,
I don't have example.
Question. Maybe I didn't say it properly, but yeah.
Okay, I don't have example for Go script, but for example, the pre-submit test SH script from Knative looks like that, right? Mm-hmm. And then you have the parameters which control the flow, for example, build test, unit test, integration test, and then you need to create a script which will implement that functions. And I don't know if we want to make that with Bash, or maybe we want to make a small Bash which execute and whole scripts in the Go scripts. I don't know. That was just a question, suggestion.
I think the default is Golang, yeah. So it's our manifesto that we use Go in our project. So as long as there is no clear reason to avoid Go, Golang is first choice, yeah.
Yeah, and also is it really easy to make a mistake in Bash scripts and hard to investigate it, I think. So maybe.
So as long as there is no arguments against Go that promotes Bash, so something is simpler or whatever, the default decision is Golang always in Kyma project. So that's just
sounds good.
Okay, so I can try with it, and we'll see what will be the result. And okay, that was probably my all questions, because I don't have right now don't have a solution ready, because I only investigate how the other repositories work. So we are going with Docker in Docker and try with the Go scripts, right? I think yes.
Yes,
Okay.
that's correct.
Okay, that will be all from my side.
Do we have any questions to that?
You said that the orchestration will be solved by the config YAML. So does that mean by the trigger mechanism at the end, or so you don't see that there will be a piece of logic written by us, but instead we are using the trigger mechanism, or what does it mean?
Yeah, because in config YAML you can define the regexp to check which folder or files was changed, and then execute that command or that pre-submit job only when that file was changed, not others. So this will be the similar to our orchestrator, and this is built-in solution in Pro.
Okay.
Maybe I will share a screen and show how it can look like, okay?
Yeah. But you cannot build up dependencies, or like if then all components are built, then start the integration job, something like this.
I think that you can say that after successful finishing one job, you can execute another one. And what we were talking about, for example, I have some very dummy pull request, and for example, this pull request made only changes for binding user controller, but I also have a defined job for the UI AP layer, and here you can see that this job was skipped because changes were made for other files. One drawback here is that we can have quite huge list here if we have, for example, 20 components, so it can contain 20 checks, and only one will be really saying that job was succeeded and others was skipped. But to be honest, I do not check if it is configurable, and maybe this skipped can be not sent and not displayed here. So I'm not sure about that.
Okay, thanks.
Yeah, but also in the status you will have clear answer which components failed or something like that, right? You don't have to go to the Pro for check. Okay, yes. You can go to for checking the logs.
But, next point about the backlog refinement.
Adam?
Okay. Cool. So I would like to show what new issues were created during this week, because we have many of people today on the meeting, and maybe they want to start contribute. And so I would like to show what tasks were created recently. So first one is investigation how we want to provide source code for our jobs. So in the Pro, in the job definition, we can say that job is decorated, and this means that some repository will be cloned and it will be available on the Docker container, but it does not work out of the box. So when I enable it, I see some errors. And also I found that other projects use a different approach. So here you have an example how it still is working. So they just create some image and they provide a repository as an argument to the container. So this task is about the investigation, which solution we should follow. And next one is about defining branch protections. So maybe I will show you document that's in the config YAM. It is a possibility to define branch protection. So the same which we are doing on the GitHub. For example, we can say that on the master we required some status checks, and I think it will be beneficial to use such kind of branch protections, because let us assume situation that if anyone makes some mistakes when he configures manually on the GitHub, we can revert it easily by having such kind of branch protections on the config YAM. Okay, next one is about static analysis tool for our shell scripts. So currently in the test infra we have a few shell scripts, and today Michał showed me that they are not the best. As he said, it's not it's quite difficult to write a correct shell script, but still we can use some static analysis tool to improve them. One of such tool is shell check. And here it's also one point, maybe we should define a pipeline for our test infra, and such shell check should be required to pass before merging to master. So it's another thing which you can contribute.
And also in that about the shell check, there is a study guide prepared by Google about how to write the shell scripts about the security and etc. So we can also investigate that.
So please, Michał, add a comment to that issue. Maybe we can also add that part of our documentation.
Yeah, right.
Okay, and next issue is about provision production Pro clusters. So cluster that it will be configured against Kyma project / Kyma, and provisioning of such cluster should be fully automatic. And this task depends on the issue about setting up domain certificates for Pro cluster. I think the sooner we start, it will be later, because if we start such kind of task later, we can meet more and more problems. So the sooner the better. And next, it would be nice to have automatic update of this official Pro cluster after merging to the test infra master branch. So to have it fully automated. And probably last one is about defining strategy for organizing jobs in config YAM. So config YAM can be quite big when we add jobs for every component only for one file, and later it can be difficult to maintain. So we should check how other people approach that problems. For example, ISO define their strategy, so they use separate files. For example, all periodic jobs are defining in one file, and I think we should also start investigating it. Maybe not the highest priority, but still important thing. We should have the task done before we ask all developers to migrate to the Pro Day components. Okay, that was all. So if you have any ideas, please add comments. Please start discussions in that issues or on the Slack channel, because that was just what we thought it would be beneficial to have, but we are open for other topics. That's all. Thank you.
Any questions, comments to that? And in general, we still...
I have a question. So we have a list of tasks, how we distribute it to the volunteers that can take them. So is there any priority on that task? So the result of refinement should be that, yeah, maybe we have some critical issues that, yeah, we need to solve in the first place. Do you have any idea what is the most urgent thing and how to distribute it effectively among teams?
For sure, we have that two issues about secrets, which are at the top of the backlog.
Can we mark use this label we have critical to mark the issues that, yeah, we need to really resolve as soon as possible? That's just my idea. That
okay, so maybe I add only one remark. So now I'm sharing our board, and we made some small refinement of this backlog. So here at the top are the...
Okay, so it is sorted, yeah?
It is sorted, but tasks which today I presented, they were created today, and maybe not all of them have a good priority. But later we can, for example, meet with the leaders and we decide about the final order, and maybe we can use this board to check what.
I just want to have yeah, maybe some insight when we do the planning, for example, tomorrow, not Monday, what to take to the sprint as the highest priority.
So I think you should take the items which are on the top of this to-do list.
Okay, thank you.
Any other comments, questions? Okay, so last question. Do we have any other topic to discuss today? I will take that as a no. So thank you very much for today's meeting and see you in a week.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.
Thank you.
Bye, guys.
Thanks, bye-bye.